couple thousand people should have seen it in the first, I don't know, couple of days with something that big. If we had a scoop where I was out, and let's say that I'm over with Billy, and Roy Jones comes in and goes, never going to believe this. I'm going to fight Antonio Tarver for the vacated WBC belt. Nobody knows it. Lee, you've been super cool over here. I want you to go break the story. You're telling me that if I made a video of something as big as, say, Oscar De La Hoya is going to come back and he's going to fight, and he can beat Golovkin, he can fight Mayweather, he can fight everybody. Robert Garcia went on and on. So now Oscar, apparently, who is now moved on to hallucinogenics, has decided to take a shot. Like, is he crazy?
You know what I love? Why I put this article in there, Lee?
Because you knew it would make me mental?
No, I want you to read the last statement Oscar De La Hoya gives in there. And if you look at that, Oscar says exactly what we were talking about in our last show. He's talking about Canelo Cotto. If they're going to face the winner, they have to get in line first. And seriously, Lee, I believe this is all the comeback. Why Oscar's coming back is to stop the Canelo Triple G fight from happening this year or next year, because September will be, or the fall will be Canelo Cotto. So he's trying to stop it from happening next year.
So you think that instead of getting HBO to pressure Canelo Triple G this year so he can hold this fighter out, that Oscar's willing to sacrifice himself, take a fight, get paid. He doesn't have anybody else. I mean, his roster's shot.
Yes.
So
this is
Oscar's only way to make. Now, by the way, I believe that Oscar Triple G, if it were real, and Oscar had one tune-up fight, he'd need one tune-up fight, a real
Daniel
one.
Gill.
Okay, fine.
Right? Everyone's knocking him out right now. His brain seems a little ready for De La Hoya.
I'm sure that you can find somebody with a bigger name than Daniel Gill. What is it?
Well, you know what? Can't have him lose.
He should fight Chris Algieri. That's who everybody seems to fight.
There you go. Hey,
okay.
That works.
Oscar,
HBO would plug the hell out of it.
It'll be great. It'll be great, right? And Oscar wins with a split decision, 12-round decision, HBO's pay-per-view. That fight by itself makes Oscar, whatever.
Brandon Rios moved to middleweight.
$20 or $30 million, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So then Oscar and on the undercard Triple G fights whoever. Doesn't matter. Amir Khan. Since we're living in fantasy land of people who think they can do things that are beyond their capabilities.
Right. Timothy Bradley wanted to move to middleweight.
There you go. Timothy Bradley will be more than happy to get knocked out by Triple G because he's delusional as well.
Right.
I don't know what everybody from middleweight to light heavyweight and middleweight to welterweight, I don't know what's physically wrong with them. I've watched Triple G fights literally since he sort of come onto my rear view, onto my screen, right? There is nothing inside me that believes that anybody from light heavyweight down to welterweight, there is nobody.
Ooh, Kovalev? Sergey?
Okay, but can he cut to middleweight?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, you got to fight at the guy's weight. I mean, ultimately, will Triple G go up there to fight him? Probably. Because what's he going to do? He's not going to get the fight with Cotto. Cotto's already doing the shrug. I'll just drop the belt. I'll retire. That's what's going to happen. Or he's going to fight.
I think De La Hoya versus Golovkin.
I think De La Hoya versus
2016.
Cotto. There's the curveball for September. Cotto versus De La Hoya.
I love that fight. Lee, you want to know what's funny about the De La Hoya comeback? It hasn't really been.
It's not a comeback. It's Robert Garcia talking.
But
and then
Oscar
apparently, hit his head against the wall.
Fans aren't turning away. And you want to know why? I think Oscar has a lot of fans out there that love seeing him get beat.
Okay,
and
but
I'm telling you right now.
Or is it boxing fans looking for anything?
No, they like to see him get beat. Not everyone, excuse me, but the majority of social media chat rooms that are talking about De La Hoya's return, I just like to see him get knocked out. Make the fight, he's going to get knocked out. Make the fight, knocked out.
What fight has Oscar gotten knocked out in? He's gotten stopped. Oscar's never gone down on his face.
Golovkin would knock out Oscar De La Hoya. Or you know what, Lee? You're right.
It would be the
He's probably just
phantom
going to go to all fours
punch.
and get counted out.
Yeah,
You're right.
come on.
You're right.
Everybody grow up. It's going to be just like Bernard Hopkins all over again.
He's not going the distance.
Right. Oh, he caught me with a kidney punch, and it just knocked the wind out of me. You know, it's funny that it was just like this when I fought Bernard Hopkins. Yeah. What a coincidence. I could even see him saying that directly to HBO on an interview.
But he
Can you believe that I got stopped twice from a kidney punch? Wow, what are the chances?
I like the Pacquiao ending more. In that one, he was just like, "No, I quit myself."
Yeah.
He asked him, "Do you want to continue?" He just got up and walked across the ring like, "I'm done."
You know that, or he could do that again. And then when they interview him, can you believe that I quit in the middle of the ring, just like I did when I fought Manny Pacquiao? What a coincidence!
Right. They like.
Thank you for paying me $30 million, HBO.
Yep.
And he's going to need money. It is what it is. Juan Manuel Marquez days are numbered. Al Heyman needs to dump some $425 million his way. So what's the story on Marquez? Is he going to fight or is he not going to fight?
He's saying he's still injured, and to me, he's Sergio Martinez. So someone needs to buy him out, right? Look, Al Heyman has Broner, Garcia, and Keith Thurman all in the same division. Or even Porter, because you know what? I'm not guaranteed that Broner's beating Porter. So you have all these prospects in one division looking to make that jump into the next level. Juan Manuel Marquez is sitting there, Lee. That's a pay-per-view match for any of those guys. Yes, you're going to have to overpay Juan Manuel Marquez to get him to come back with a broken knee. But, hey, this is boxing. If you want Thurman to be a star, damn it, overpay Juan Manuel Marquez and let's get this fight on. Al Heyman has $425 million. Let's play with it.
Roy Jones Jr. is planning 2 fights for his 60th birthday. Now, I am scheduled to talk.
He's really 47, Lee. He's not 60.
Whatever.
He looks 60.
I get the joke. But,
you didn't laugh.
I get the joke. I think Billy's supposed to fight on his next card as well. So I'm working on getting Roy and Billy. I know Billy's already in training, and I'm supposed to talk to them, and I'll probably have for all the Roy Jones Jr. fans, I'll have some good stuff for you guys next week. I will talk to the
Jones
RJJ
Jr. Lee,
people.
but this is getting crazy. 2 fights in 1 month. Roy Jones. This is why he lost Jesse Vargas. You know, Vargas needed a full-time trainer, and it really looks like Roy Jones is making another run at a title, but, Lee's 47. You know, he's going 2 fights in 1 month. That seems like a lot.
We had this discussion with Billy. If Roy is the best guy for the first 3 rounds, and he can be it's the same thing with Billy. Okay, anybody over the age of 40, it's the same game plan. I have the same game plan if I get back into the cage. It's got to end real fast. Because the longer it goes, the more uncomfortable it's going to be. So when you're above the age of 40, I happen to be the same age as Roy, nearing 60. It's funny to sit with Billy and Billy talking like he's older and bigger and wiser than me. I'm like, you're only 3 years older than me, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. We grew up on the same stuff. We were in high school at the same time. I think it's a great idea to have a fight card of all these kind of older fighters that are still in the top 10, and I think it's a great commodity, and I think that's what Roy's going for. And it's interesting. My only question is, what's the end game? Is Roy just trying to make...
Marco Huck. I believe he's going to face Marco Huck overseas for the WBO Cruiserweight title.
You know what?
That's the rumor.
You get a title.
Yeah. That's the rumor.
I mean, and that's the bottom line. I mean, Roy's an independent guy. He's an independent promoter. Roy has the same problem that Billy ultimately has, except Billy doesn't have the name recognition. I'm actually going to do an episode of Fight Net Radio this week or next week, depending on my schedule, explaining how an independent fighter who's in let's say you're a fighter in the top 20, Andrew, and you're a nobody. You didn't sign with Al. You didn't sign with the debate we had with Billy, right? So imagine you are that fighter, and you are 50-5. Your last 10, 15 fights are all by knockout. You move into the top 20 in any of the weight classes, but you're independent. You're telling me that you think you're actually going to get a fight with a champion? And I'll tell you why. One, you don't have name recognition. Two, you might actually win.
Yeah.
That's bad. And by the way, that's bad for boxing. Now, the only reason Roy gets away with it or Tarver gets away with it is because they have name recognition. So it would lead me to believe as a marketing guy, and I'm going to do this really for all you fighters who are listening, I'm actually going to teach you guys how to create a marketing plan so that you can turn yourself into a known commodity and build a fan base, because you and I both know this, right? You might be a good fighter. You don't even need to be a good fighter. You just need a good fan base and people who want to see you do something.
Yep.
Right? I mean, I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. Tommy Morrison was an average fighter. Very average. There were only two outcomes at a Tommy Morrison fight. He was going to knock somebody out or he was going to get knocked out. And he sold out that arena in Oklahoma every single fight. And he got lucky and got the WBO title from George Foreman.
I think Arturo Gatti fits that mold.
Yeah, another independent guy, but he ultimately signed with I think he was signed with Main Events towards the end when he got hot. And I think you have to at the end, right? Because you want to cash in and you want to take a couple of big paydays. But until you look, Arturo Gatti could have been a nobody. That could have been a horrible story. Look, Freddie Roach, if he was not a world-class trainer, you're telling me Freddie Roach isn't living, in Sylmar or some awful place in Southern California? And by the way, if you live in Sylmar, don't send me your emails. It is an awful place. I already know that. But you're telling me, let's say Freddie Roach is not a trainer. He's not an old guy living in a retirement home with, Alzheimer's, sad and alone. Because the only money he really has is from being a trainer. It's not from being a boxer.
Right.
That's the reality. There's no Freddie Roach fan base. If there was, he wouldn't have to, fight as long as he did. He'll be the first one to tell you, I fought too long. We saw the same thing with your boy Arturo Gatti. How long? He stayed at the dance too long. He was first of all, his face was like a catcher's mitt after fighting, and second of all, his brain was mush.
Yeah, heart and power. That's all he had. But It was successful in the sport.
And if you guys don't believe that you should make as much as you can, as quick as you can, and do it based on marketing, use your brains more than your strength, professional boxing and professional fighting today is more about business than it is about fighting. I think you can manufacture anybody into a champion right now. I do. We see it every single day. You don't believe me? Miguel Cotto should not be champion.
Poor Miguel. Why are you always picking on Cotto?
He beat a one-legged man.
Yeah, I know.
And why did he get the fight, Andrew? Let's talk marketing.
Jermaine Taylor. Jermaine Taylor did the same thing.
Absolutely. But let's talk about why Miguel Cotto got the fight. He got the fight because of name recognition. Not because he was an HBO guy. Not because Freddie Roach was training him. He got it strictly because he was a big name. And I guarantee that HBO originally thought, we're going to set this up and we got somebody to feed to Triple G.
Yep. And then they signed Canelo.
Yeah, that's a whole different look.
That was huge.
That's Oscar now trying to work out the Golden Boy Revisited.
Yep.
He's going to milk that situation. He's going to put him in win-only situations.
They already have an option B or C.
I'm going to fight Amir Khan. Oh, I'm really surprised, Canelo.
Khan says Mayweather's popularity will go up after he fights him.
See, you know how to do a funny show, Andrew. We don't need Will doing voices. You just say funny lines in the news, and I laugh. That's so funny. Amir Khan is simply the most. I thought Oscar De La Hoya coming back to boxing was the most delusional thing in the history of boxing. I take it back.
Yep.
Amir Khan